Well, thanks for staying with us on the JoyNews channel. This is The Pulse, and you saw the live pictures from Tamale, where the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, once more justifying the controversial electronic transactions levy. There's more on this conversation. Bernard Mona, who's the convener for the group Justice for Ghana, is here with us. Daniel Okyem Aboagye, who's a former member of the Finance Committee, is also online to give us some perspectives into government's arguments for this levy. But we can once more take a listen to the concerns that were raised during the demonstration earlier today.
No matter in your juma, and the didn't say about one. I am in them a before. Yes, Lena, some in another say, I am a jack, did Miss Sakufado, me put the book from me planet show. On sister, no use I didn't film near one toilet. What's the matter? Yeah, Twabano, me, the Adroya Boa, me and a Twabamano, me Twabano, me Twabano to save your yano. My babu ebu, my broso, a man said, "Oh, be coming to me, can be." As I said, "When you make us see, yes." Before I end the channel, the other man there, I know you are my intimate son, because of the good form. Oh, my, the oil, or some Kakrama, yes, Rena. What's the morning? And going. Yes, Reno. Tony, the panicha, one time you my you never need the panicha. You got the phone, you bless them fast, they say, so far, and to me, Papa, your panicha. Only you never knew my head. Near to Abama, you done a year. Only I'm about the former year bread, your panicha. I see a panicha. First, young people at Talia, when I'm a neighborhood, the intimation. And quiet, and to say, be our big country and a young year to a man. Once it's a kind of go.
Also, those are the concerns on the streets of Accra today. Earlier, you heard from the National Youth Organizer of the NDC, George Apari-Addo, indicating why the NDC staged this protest today. Daniel Okyem Aboagye is joining us via Zoom. Joining me in studio now is the convener for Justice for Ghana, Bernard Mona, who also joined the demonstration today. In fact, their protest started earlier, where they were picketing Parliament and then raising concerns over the rate at which government is being insistent and pushing through this bill. But today, he's here in studio with us. Bernard Mona, welcome to The Pulse.
Thank you.
So earlier you were in Parliament. You've been sleeping there for quite a number of days now. I'm just wondering if you would still go ahead, sleep in front of Parliament in a bid to make sure that this bill doesn't pass.
We will give a pause, and we'll listen to our members of Parliament for probably over a week. Then we'll return and resume our opposition to the electronic TV levy.
Why do you decide to go?
That the government decides to impose on the people of Ghana. And when somebody comes to steal from you, and you catch the person turns around to say, well, I was coming to steal, say, 10 cedis. But because you caught me, I'm coming to make it 5 cedis. And therefore allow me to steal. That doesn't make sense. The mere fact that there is thievery involved makes it a crime and makes it abominable. E-levy doesn't constitute a tax. E-levy constitutes a usurpation of people's capital. E-levy means that money that genuinely should not be taxed and is meant for other transactions. That is what the government of Ghana is going to take. And I cite instances for you, and probably let me do it.
Well, if you may just hold on, Bernard Mona, because we've been keeping...
Because I want to make it so you understand why I say it's TV.
I get the point that you have a lot of points to break down, but Daniel Okyem Aboagye has been on. We've also heard from the finance minister. We'll come to you shortly, Bernard Mona. But Daniel Okyem Aboagye, if you can hear me, it's interesting that the finance minister is taking issues with graduates who decided to join the protest today. He says that there should be list of the categories of people who would complain about this. Why is government not listening to the plight of the people on this?
The line is rough. Well, your line is breaking. I'm not sure if you can hear me.
We can hear you loud and clear. Yeah.
Okay. This is part of leadership. Leadership is hard. Sometimes the people don't see what you see. And a true sign of a leader is ability to have vision tomorrow, even if those people following don't see it. It happened when the Israelites were moving from Egypt to Canaan. You saw all the lamentations and what happened. To be honest with you, it's also sad to hear some people, and of course we have to respect everybody's opinion, how they take this, that E-Levy is what is going to raise people's capital. Are you saying that what we pay to the telcos is not raising people's capital? Government has not invested. Government has not done interoperability. Government has not planted networks across the country that the government also deserves to also have a service charge.
But I guess it's about I guess it's about the burden. I guess it's about the burden now. The charges that the telcos are imposing now is somewhere around 1%, and you agree that the 1.75% will worsen that rate, isn't it?
No, the question is, if you have to, I don't really have problems. People that are saying that we should look at the rate, that is an argument. But to say this is stealing, to say it's so sad, but it's okay. I believe what the minister is doing, going about educating people. As I speak to you, I'm in a training room where I have about 15 people here that I'm training. I'm trying to talk about the E-Levy as well. When the issues are well explained, people understand. The NDC propaganda is well known. If you think E-Levy is going to kill Ghanaians, for heaven's sake, you want to come to power, allow E-Levy to kill MPP so you can come to power. What is your worry?
But I guess sorry for cutting in, but I guess we don't have a social contract with the opposition political party. We voted into power. You promised, and this is contained in your 2016 manifesto, your 2020 manifesto as well. You promised that you were going to shift from production, from taxation to production. That was the promise that the vice president gave us. He is now in charge of the economic management team. Today, you're telling us we shouldn't be concerned about the promises you made to the people of Ghana?
NDC introduced over 26 taxes, different taxes. When MPP came to power in 2017, we reduced or removed over 17 of those. How do you say to that?
Should this be about the NDC or the MPP?
You are the one who brought it on.
But we voted for you. That's why I'm raising that issue.
No, it's not right. We understand. Because you entrusted us with power, right? You have given us the mandate to do that which we consider to be right by the people. It's okay for Ghanaians to express the fact that maybe it's high and all that. But the government thinks that to be able to construct 111 hospitals, to be able to take care of the unemployment situation, which is a national security risk, to be able to ensure that children go to school, we have good roads and all that. The government has proposed a policy that says that debt levels are too high. We have just almost finishing or going through COVID-19. Times are hard. It's not just Ghana, everywhere. Let's contribute a little bit to help the government solve the problems. And you say what?
If you look at the revenue measure that you are implementing or proposing to implement and how much you're seeking to raise from this, it's just a targeted 6.9 billion cedis in terms of the total amount. So there are, a number of suggestions to government that you should consider some level of alternatives that could bring much more revenue. For instance, Dr. Kwabena Dufo talks about the need for government to focus on the royalties or the mineral sector, which would bring you far in excess of the 6.9 billion cedis that you're looking for. Even if you take a look at the Auditor General's report, it appears that government is wasting so much funds as compared to the 6.9 that you're seeking to raise through this 1.75 levy.
Any idea to improve revenue is welcome. Any idea to improve on spending efficiency, any idea to improve costs is welcome. By the way, the government is trying to widen the tax net. The government is trying to block the leakages, but the government also has a duty to run the country. So it's not like we are just going to push E-Levy or everything is going to be dealt with E-Levy. No, it helps to reduce debt. It helps to create jobs for the unemployment, youth unemployment. It helps to make sure that while we take steps to reduce government inefficiency, so to call, if you wish, government inefficiency, while we take steps to reduce leakages and reduce corruption and all those things, it is going to help the government to do all those things that they plan to do for the country. We are not saying that there are no alternatives. There are alternatives. What did our friends in opposition do to Ajapa? Government said, let's leverage the funds that we can get from the minerals. What did they do? So the opposition, while we respect their position, I think they are going extreme. They are becoming a little bit, with all due respect, irresponsible. Let the government go and deal with it and fail. And then you can get the opportunity to come to power. But to say you're going to go on demonstration, obviously, is their right. Let them do it. But I believe that the government should continue to educate Ghanaians, consult, listen, and let's do what we have to do. Even if it means we have to probably reduce it further. Let's listen to Ghanaians and do that. The consultation must continue to go on. The NDC can continue to do their demonstration. It's their right. But I believe E-Levy is a necessary evil.
I'll be bringing in Bernard Mona shortly.
Of unemployment, some of the burden of debt, and all those things that we need to do.
Right. Daniel Okyem Aboagye, I'll be bringing in Bernard Mona shortly. But one more thing: what is it that government will lose entirely if we don't push through this electronic transaction levy? Is it the case that the entire economy will collapse?
The government is going to lose revenue to undertake all the economic measures for its expenditure. The government will not be able to reduce significantly the youth unemployment because we have used that. The government will not be able to do all the 111 hospital that is promising. The government may have to even increase debt. So we are not saying E-Levy is going to solve all the problems, but it is going to add to that which government needs to be able to embark on economic policy for 2022. And so if our friends on the other side mean well, and they think that E-Levy is a bitter pill, and government is forcing it under the throat, for Ghanaians to swallow it, they should let the government go, as Joy said, Honorable Joy said. Let the government go, let it hit the anger of the people, and eventually 2024 they will decide.
Daniel Okyem Aboagye,
they are not being sincere with Ghanaians,
right?
In the sense that they believe that the government is able to get 21 billion over 3 years versus 3.2 billion. The government is going to do marvelous, and NDC will be in opposition for a long time.
Just hold the lines for us. We're grateful that you're spending quite a significant amount of your time with us today, in spite of your busy schedule. Bernard Mona has listened to all of the arguments that Daniel Okyem Aboagye has made. The finance minister as well has spoken. He says, if you look at the tax net, it appears that a lot of Ghanaians are not even paying tax after all. So why demand more from the government in the first place?
But you listen to some of these comments and the level of insensitivity, arrogance, pomposity, and above all, what I describe as bellyful attitude, which leads to belching, is what I experienced from the Minister for Finance and my friend who had just spoken. First and foremost, graduates have been part and parcel of our system, where we have seen massive levels of unemployment. We have seen the opulent lifestyles of our government since time, and citizens have a right to protest when government is going beyond its remit. In this instance, how many taxes have we not paid as Ghanaians? You sit here, you pay as you earn. We sit here, we pay value-added tax. we sit here, we pay sanitation or what many Ghanaians have described as baller tax. In spite of the difficulties that COVID-19 imposed on the business community and on individuals, including your media house, government is taking it as if it was the only institution or outfit that was hit by COVID-19. Sometimes you listen to them and you get a certain sense of that. They don't even appreciate. One day, President Akufo-Addo just got up and announced that we had COVID has come and therefore there is going to be a lockdown. Many people who were engaged in trading in perishables, ab initio, lost all their capital because they bought these perishables probably over a 2-week, 3-week period. So they can probably use them. Within that period, they were not opportunity for them to use them. Hotels and the hospitality industry was much hit. Transportation was hit. You could not come here. And I know that media houses like yours decided to even in-house your workers. You did not allow them to go home and come because of the fear that they could go out there and contract COVID-19 and come. So you were also heavily impacted. Do you understand?
Are you not, I'm sorry, but are you not being one-sided?
How am I being one-sided? Because corporate was affected.
And just indulge me, government says we've done quite a lot.
What has government done?
We provided free water, we give you free electricity.
You see, when you engage in this kind of ignorance, acceptance of government postulations,
you enjoyed part of the water.
Can you indulge me when I'm shaving you and you are touching your hair?
But you enjoy.
Can you? I never enjoyed anything.
Didn't enjoy
listen to me. In my house, I use borehole.
Right.
So where is the government free water that they are claiming?
You didn't enjoy that?
I don't enjoy water in Sankana. I use borehole water. And government does not provide the borehole water for me. It's at my own cost.
How about electricity?
Okay, electricity I paid. Government has come to tell you that it was free to the bursary, but it was not free. It was free to us, but not free to the bursary. One of your own now Minister for Information, or is it misinformation, said that it was free to us, but it was not free to the bursary. The reason for which they have imposed COVID-19 tax. So where is the freeness or the freebies that the government introduced? You give with the right and collect with the left and come and tell me that you have provided freebies. Where is that ignorant acceptance of government wrong postulations coming from?
But whatever the case may be,
we have overpaid for what they claim we enjoyed for free. In any case, I am saying that when you come and say and announce that omnibus, we have enjoyed free water. I live in a community where there is no pipe-borne water.
That's not to say that
that's one. There were no tanker services. There were no tanker services as they promised into the lakeside area where we don't have water.
But I'm making the point that that does not negate
so
the fact that you did not enjoy that.
So when you come, even as I did not enjoy it, I am burdened with the tax of it for which I have to pay. You understand what I'm talking about? I did not enjoy it, yet there is a COVID-19 tax that I'm paying. That one, they are not discriminating. On this matter, let me put it as simple as, so that my friend can understand why we say the government is stealing. And when we caught the government decided that they are going to reduce the threshold of the theft. Now, I do business from Sankana, and I have to pass my money through you. So I send you, let's say, I start a business with 10,000 Ghana cedis, holding everything constant. That 10,000 cedis are used weekly. I send you that 10,000 cedis. It means I'm going to suffer 175 Ghana cedis loss or given to the government of Ghana. Now, when I send the money to you, because of your busy schedule, you will not be able to go to Abosu Okai to go and do the business. So you call the person, the supplier, and also send electronically. What it means is that I have to add you 175. In effect, I am paying or I'm losing 350 Ghana cedis on my 10,000 to government for no work done. In addition to that, I'll still be paying all the statutory taxes that I'll be paying. What has the government done, or what have I done? That out of my 10,000, I'll lose 350 Ghana cedis to the government of Ghana. Is that not theft? Is that not stealing? Now that we have caught the government stealing our money, the government somersaulted and said, oh, if you are talking about the rate, we can look at it, but we can reduce the rate. There is nothing that is legal about stealing. That is why Aboagye wrote the article Chrononomics of the E-Levy.
But in all of this, Bernard Mona, the fact still remains that government has not locked anyone onto the platforms on which they'll be imposing.
You see, it is don't again embark on that.
Use or not to use the platform.
I'm saying that don't embark on this perilous.
But that's a fact.
Let me tell you something. Well, you don't come from where I come from,
right?
I have to travel 12 hours to get to my community. And when I get there and we harvest our tiger nuts, and all of us know that because of the hardship in the system, I choose to put my money, that after I've sold my tiger nuts, instead of carrying my money home so that I'll suffer any risk of my money being stolen and being harmed, I walk to the nearest mobile vendor and I put my money on it. Then government says that because I put my money on it, they are going to charge me. Now, government says that, oh, the telcos are enjoying from it. Which of the telcos? Probably MTN, because Vodafone is free. Do you understand? I'm saying that you know that Vodafone is free. So when you say that the telcos are, when the government and the Minister for Finance come to say that the telcos have agreed to reduce their charges by 25%. Vodafone charges 0%. So 25% of 0 is what?
But Bernard, here's my argument. The point that you are free to choose. You can.
And so I chose not to do MTN because they charge. I chose Vodafone. So I can do my business without any charges. Then government come to say, the fact that I am going to do that on a private person, they chose to sell Ghana Telecom to Vodafone. And I chose Vodafone as my mobile platform. Then I get my transaction free of charge. Then government turn around to say that you are coming to take part of my money.
We've been hearing a number of arguments. The NDC, for instance, is saying that the IMF is the way to go out of this. The Justice for Ghana movement, we've not heard of your policy recommendation on what it is that government is about.
Let me tell you something. We have state-owned enterprises. Just yesterday or so, a government that is desirous of raising money suddenly realizes that, oh, Senate, of which government is, of course, a major player, has some hotels in its name. Government is advertising for the sale of the companies or the corporations. What does that mean? It's like you have your father bequeathed to you a house. And then you living in the house, somebody come and tell you that you are poor. Because you are poor, sell that your father's house. You get some money momentarily. You can go and rent and have money in your pocket. And that will save you out of your economic misery. And you decide to sell that house. Go and rent for maybe some 5 years. The rent will expire. The money will go. You have no house to live in. You will be chased away.
So your solution is?
When government think that there is inefficiency in any of our state-owned institutions, you invest in efficiency. Go around and look for people like you who are business-oriented and who can promote and bring about increased revenue and increased promotion of the facility. You don't go and sell it. We have done these sales over the period. What have we not sold? We have sold over 420 state assets. In the end, we realized that we just lost and we keep losing. We sold Ghana Telecom, for instance, to Vodafone. Today, we are biting our fingers because what Vodafone is raking as revenue, which should have belonged to the government of Ghana, we have lost. We are here to tax people and take people's money. We can't continue on that reckless path, thinking that the state cannot participate in the running of some assets and then turn around to think that the state has business. If this is the way to go, let's auction the presidency too as well.
Okay, let's bring in Daniel Okyem Aboagye now. You've heard Bernard Mona say there's a need for us to improve efficiency in the public sector. And it goes to the heart of the many findings that the Auditor General's report has made about how public expenditure is not properly being accounted for, and also issues of wastage in the system. What's your reaction to that?
Reaction to that, let me just say, Bernard is a good friend. I don't know why he speaks with a lot of insults. But anyway, that's...
I'm sorry, I never insulted. I'm sorry, but if you consider that my pronouncement are insulting, I'm sorry, but it is never intended to insult you. You know that I hold you in high regard. I only disagree vehemently with the position that you have taken. I will never insult you.
It's all right, my brother. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. But finance is probably not as simple as he's talking about it. I think probably he might have to up his finance education a little bit. He can sell an asset and turn around and make more than what you had in an asset.
Give us examples
of the many state enterprises that we have sold and which ones we have made.
Out of which we've made some proceeds.
For instance, I can just give you from a practical finance point of view. Okay, if you have an asset which is part of your revenue stream, and for mismanagement or for whatever reason, it's a non-performing asset, creating a lot of losses for you, what are you going to do? You make a decision and let it go.
Mismanagement.
Your losses
so
will
what
cut.
do you do?
That is one. Two, it talks about the fact that businesses are suffering in terms of when there was COVID. I am a businessman also, in addition to be a former MP. I've done business a lot. I have over 300 people that I employed for the last 15 years that work. In 2020, we had to let about 50 people go home. Revenue dipped. We don't want taxes. Yet, it's important that government gets money to run the country. When COVID was there, we had a transport company that is called Tumam Express. That was busing people, 15 of them. We were asked to reduce it to 10. We're losing about 200 cedis every trip. And I'm talking about almost about 100 trips a day. Multiply by 200. We lost it for almost about a year. When they were asked to go through those kinds of things. Yes, we've lost money. Individuals have lost it. Household, by the way, who is government? Individuals, households, we all come together. Firms make a government. We are not talking about President Kufuor or anybody. We're talking about ourselves. We've suffered under COVID. The globe has suffered. Ghana has suffered. Individuals have suffered. Yet, we need to begin to rebuild. And government has no money from anywhere but from us. So what is he talking about? Talking about government has done nothing for him because he has borehole in his house. He didn't, what do you call it? The borehole digging machine that drove to his house. Which road did that borehole machine used? Did he construct the road to his house?
But regardless of that,
that is the assumption that my house, that is the assumption that the road to my house is constructed.
Right, but Daniel Okyem Aboagye, just on that, on the free water, just hold on for me, gentlemen, just hold on. Daniel Okyem Aboagye, if you can hear me, I'm asking about the free water and the free electricity. For instance, government has disclosed that that was not free and that at some point, citizens would have to make up for it.
No, we are paying for it, not at some point.
No, the question is that when the government gave it out, did you pay anything for it? I didn't pay anything for it. At some point in time, definitely the government will come around and say, life was first and foremost the most important thing the government had to say.
So is the E-Levy the measure that you're using to take back the free water and free electricity that you gave to citizens?
No, we are taking that under the COVID tax.
The E-Levy is part of the basket of funds or revenue that the government is looking for Ghana's development agenda for 2022. All right? And the government was emphatic. The government says that it's going to use it to reduce youth unemployment. It's going to embark on youth that. It's going to do infrastructure, roads. So those are the things that we have to do. I think the conversation should be shifted towards, or we should shift it towards, how do we put systems in place to further ensure that whatever money is raised from E-Levy is secure, like the PIAC. When Ghana got oil, you put PIAC in place, Public Interest Accountability Committee. Why can't we do E-Levy PIAC? So that in addition to parliamentary oversight, in addition to the Auditor General auditing all these accounts, we also have something like E-Levy PIAC, that can also support and report on how much money has been brought in through E-Levy, how much money has also been expended on those projects that we agreed to use the money on.
Okay.
That is what should be the conversation.
And I'm sure
we agree that will not go anywhere.
Okay,
the government has its mandate. The government at some point in time has to listen. Yes, I agree. Let's consult, but we need to raise money. one way or the other
and I guess,
to support the development agenda.
And I guess this is just the beginning of the conversation. Let me wrap up with Bernard Mona, who's in studio with us. So you've heard Daniel Okyem Aboagye explain why, of course, we've done some sales of public assets, and he believes that that's not the way to go in terms of controlling or finding an alternative to the E-Levy.
Well, I have said time without number. Just take the 2022 budget statement as presented. E-Levy component is 6.9 billion. The government of Ghana is expected to spend 137.5 billion. Of this amount, 105 billion is to be generated domestically, which has been approved by Parliament. So government has already been given a carte blanche to go out there and spend the various sources of income that come to the government. What the government is coming to do now is that the government is coming to steal from me and you. The government is coming to deny the very poor the opportunity to even be remitted and to be supported. And we are saying that that is not acceptable. Majority, and I said this, and let me repeat, majority of even media personnel, they go on these mobile platforms and they borrow money. So when you go and borrow, MTN gives you credit. You borrow money. When you are going to pay, even on your loan, government considers this as a transaction. Government is taking part. I mean, how does that make sense? So I go to take a contracted loan. When I'm going to pay the loan, because I'm using electronic transaction, government comes to take part of the money that I'm going to use to service my loan, and you turn around and tell me it's a tax. No, that is theft.
What's the way forward for the justice for Ghana?
We will continue to insist, as President Akufo-Addo did in 1995 and told government, that anytime government brings a policy that is unfavorable to the mass of the people, the government has a duty to withdraw that unfavorable policy. And in so doing, Jerry Rawlings withdrew in 1995 the unfavorable value-added tax that President Akufo-Addo and President Kufuor, Edward Mahama, the late Dan Lartey, all of them led us onto the street. They withdrew the value-added tax. Take note, value-added tax was replacing the sales and service tax at the time. It was not even a new tax. It was to replace the sales and service tax. Yet we resisted it. And the pressure was on government. Government withdrew it, went on a massive 3-year education for the people of Ghana to accept that value-added tax is acceptable to us. We have brought an electronic TV levy, and the people of Ghana say that this is an unfavorable levy. President Akufo-Addo should do the needful. Withdraw it, and if there is any opportunity for us to reconsider it, we'll do that in a later period, probably in 2030. Even that one.
Failure to do that.
Failure to do that, we will continue to mass up in our numbers. At the moment, we keep going to Parliament because the bill is before Parliament. Should Parliament make the mistake of wanting to pass it, and I believe they will not do so. If they make the mistake and they want to pass it, we have other options to embark on, and I can assure you, we shall put our lives in order to save ourselves from government stealing of our purse.
I'm grateful. Bernard Mona is the convener for the Justice for Ghana movement. Earlier, you also heard from Daniel Okyem Aboagye, who's a former member of the Finance Committee in Parliament. This is The Pulse. When we return, we'll give you some updates on the UTAG strike. Stay with us.